my best way to credentialize is I can say, well, I can help you with that. For example, a business owner I recently worked with used to have to work every Saturday and after every Sunday, and now they don't work weekends, so they don't work Fridays either, and the business has grown by 10%. Now, I mean, that's a proper credential, that is, because you tell a story to sell yourself, and that is a better credential than saying, you know, I started this business in 2003 and I've written books, which is not credentializing at all. So what I think about sales is, if you think of sales as something you do to the customer, you'll probably say, look at my business. I was founded in this year. Look at all the people who work here. Look at all the different things we can do. If you think of sales in the way I do, which is it's helping somebody else get the afters. Let's use the example of a lawyer and someone doesn't want to go to jail. If you can help them not go to jail, well, technically you've made a sale, but helping them not go to jail just sounds nicer. Imagine you are an agency and I say, why should I work with you as an agency? Very often people will say, well, we have great people and great creative and great ideas and great this and great that, which is all well and good, but nobody cares about that. What they care about,
Welcome to this week's Working On It, the podcast for service-based business founders who want to scale without burning out. Our guest today is Andy Bounds. Andy is a world-leading communication expert, a best-selling author, and an in-demand speaker. He's known for teaching people how to influence and sell without ever sounding too salesy. Thanks for listening, and let's get into the show. So thank you very much for coming and working on it. I really appreciate your time. I know we've got a hard stop, so thank you very much. I appreciate it. Andy, afters. Tell me about afters.
I will be delighted to. Yes, all that afters are. It's a thing I came up with a while ago because I noticed a lot of people struggle to get buy-in from other people. So imagine you are an agency and I say, why should I work with you as an agency? Very often people will say, well, we have great people and great creative and great ideas and great this and great that, which is all well and good, but nobody cares about that. Sadly, what they care about, the afters, in other words, after you, why are they better off? So after you, are they going to make more money? After you, can they live a better life? After you, will their children leave them alone? After you, will they not go to jail? I don't know what sort of agency I'm thinking of here, Brad. But afters are why people are better after. So after me, what happens is my clients make more sales and they save a lot of time. So the reason I get asked in is to cause sales and reduce time. People don't call me in because I'm a professional speaker. And they don't call me in because I've written books. They call me in because after me, people make more sales and they save time. So the thing I always urge people is if you want other people to really latch on to what you do and buy into what you do, you've got to let them know why they will be better off after you.
Customer experience, would you say? Did it fall into that category?
It certainly does. Well, experience is part of it. The two main things I look for are experience and outcomes. So will they enjoy it, the experience, but also will they get good outcomes as well? So if people love working with me and then their sales don't go up, that's not good. So it's partly the experience, but it's partly the actual outcomes that result as well.
With that, who is that famous person that said they won't remember what you told them, they won't remember the content of the conversation, but they remember how you made them feel? I forget her name. Yeah. But yeah, so it was. I think that kind of falls into that, and that's exactly what we try to do. Is sort of like I believe that when you deliver that customer experience or that feeling, that it takes your service to another level, and that's why I think what you mentioned resonates with myself anyway, definitely, and so many people, because that's kind of what everyone wants in the end. If they really said what they want, it's sort of to have a peace of mind and all that sort of thing. And if you can deliver that, then you're going to win most of the way, aren't you, really?
Well, it will certainly help. One of the troubles is how people normally communicate is they focus on themselves and their past. So we've all seen people say, we were founded in 2008. Right? I just don't care how old you are, And so focusing on the other person and what they're interested in, enhancing their experience, enhancing their outcomes, we all know we should do that, but people often don't. So when they communicate, what they do is they might put these afters, as we call them, Brad, but they say them after everything else. So they talk about this, and 20 minutes later they say, and that, of course, is why we can help you export into Belgium. You think you really should have said export into Belgium in the first sentence, not the last one, because I've begun to stop listening by then.
Modern way of doing business or doing transactions or selling, so to speak, And that, because years ago it used to be, what's your credentials? It'd be like, okay, we've got this qualification, that, etc. As you just said. But do you think that's changed over time? Got more about that recently?
Well, not as much as it should have done. I mean, the interesting thing with credentials is people forget the poem "Facts tell, stories sell." So facts tell, stories sell. So when I say give me your credentials, people often tell facts. So they say founded in this year, I've got these qualifications, I've been in the industry for so many years, and that's fine. But the thing that really sells you is when you tell a story. So if I'm talking to someone and they say, I'm looking to save a bit of time because I just don't even see my kids at the weekend because I'm doing stupid work all the time. Yeah. Well, my best way to credentialize is I can say, well, I can help you with that. For example, a business owner I recently worked with used to have to work every Saturday and after every Sunday, and now they don't work weekends and they don't work Fridays either, and the business has grown by 10%. Now, I mean, that's a proper credential, that is, because you tell a story to sell yourself. And that is a better credential than saying, I started this business in 2003 and I've written books, which is not credentializing at all. So, yeah, credentials are important, but remember the poem, facts tell, stories sell.
Saying actually, that's really true. I've never really heard of it before, but what you just said, that really sort of resonates. That's so true. So what's your story then, Andy? Where got you into this? Like what made you get into this and realize that stories sell?
Okay. Well, there's two really. There's a business one and a personal one. I'll do the personal one to start with because that's one that's most interesting to people. My family background, my mum is blind. She can't see at all. So when I was a kid learning how to speak, the person who taught me to speak literally can't see. So I became naturally interested in, hopefully good at, certainly passionate about explaining things from someone else's point of view. Yeah. So, and when you think about it, if you're a business owner, all your colleagues are blind to why they should do what you want them to do. If you're a potential customer, they're blind to why they should give you money when they've got other options. So communicating with people who don't see the world the way you do, that's where my interest in this comes from. And the business thing is many years ago, I went to a presentation delivered by a bank, and it was so dreadful, Brad. I just sat there thinking, I can't believe you've wasted all this money hiring this venue, paying top dollar, and you're boring us all. And I thought, why are you being so boring? And then I went to another presentation by another bank about a week later, and it was exactly the same. And it suddenly dawned on me, those two presentations at the same time. Oh, most people don't know how to be interesting. Most people don't know how to communicate with blind people, if you like. And so that was my, I think you call it your entrepreneurial seizure moment. That was the moment when I thought, oh, maybe I know something that other people don't.
A light bulb moment.
Yeah, that's right. That's a better word for it. Entrepreneurial seizure is not a good phrase. Light bulb moment, we'll do that.
Let's go with light bulb moment. Yeah, but so just on the personal level. So with the sorry, I didn't realise obviously the your mum was blind and stuff. But I just want to quickly touch on that. And that's quite amazing because that's feeling, isn't it? Would
Yeah,
you say that's really deep feeling, isn't it? So therefore, you're delivering an experience, or certainly selling or telling your story, your service based on experience and feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that probably come from, would you agree, from obviously your mum being blind and her having to teach you how to speak, but with true feeling and making somebody else feel what you're trying to say.
Yeah, and there's certainly that. There's certainly, I mean, I love my mum very much. I don't want her to miss out on stuff because she's blind. That's not fair. So it was a passionate thing, right? But I suppose as well that when I was little, I might see someone explain something to mum and she wouldn't quite understand it. And as a small child, I probably didn't handle it very well. But as a small child, I thought, oh, if you just had said this instead, then mum would have got it. And I think that's my adult job now, Brad. I think, oh, if you just had said that differently, then your colleagues would have got it. It's the same idea.
That's it, yeah. I follow your work for many years, and I actually done a couple of your sort of like seminars or webinars that you're doing before or during lockdown. So it was really amazing how exactly as you just said. That just reminded me of a couple of things that you mentioned, where you just changed a couple of words from sentences that tend to get used often, and all of a sudden it just resonates so much more. And all you've done is change a couple of words. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is nuts, isn't it? It doesn't take much. I remember. I'll give you a couple of examples because I guess people listening to this might go, "Well, give us some examples." Then. So one of them is just a simple thing. If you want to see someone again at the end, you don't say, "When should we meet again?" Change it to, "How soon can we meet again?" It's really strange, right? If you say, "When should we meet again?" people will say, "I don't know, a couple of months." If you say, "How soon can we meet again?" they'll say, "Well, can you do next week?" And just change the word "when" to "how soon" changes everything. If you end any sentence with the word or not, people can say not. So if I say to my kids, do you want to go to bed? They just go no, because they've heard the phrase or not. But if you offer them options and say, hey kids, you've got two choices. When do you want to go to bed tonight? 7:30 or 8? It's up to you. Like, you're basically saying you're going to bed, but you got rid of or not. Yeah.
So how would you use that in the context of selling? I know we're jumping the gun a little bit here, but like say
No,
for
it's
instance,
fine.
if you've sent in proposals and say, I don't know, mine would be like any process on a decision of the proposal so far, etc. Would it be like when should we book in a discovery call, Monday or Wednesday? Would that be
You
right?
could certainly do that if you want to. I mean, offering options is always a good idea. So you can say, when should we have our next chat, or how soon should we have our next chat? Another thing with proposals, when I put them in, is I never, ever, ever say to someone, you can have it for £10,000, you want it or not. I never say or not. I always give them two choices with two price points, Brad. So I say there's two ways I can help you here. If you want, we can do this big Bertha version, that's 10,000. But if you prefer, we can take out this and this. It'll still be good, but that takes the price down to 6,000. Which would you prefer? So I'm not saying do you want 10,000 or not. I'm saying do you want 10,000 or 6,000? Yeah.
Would that go along with the Goldilocks pricing element?
You could do that, yeah. Not too hot, not too cold. Yeah.
It's done or not. I need to stop saying that now you mentioned that.
No, it's fine. No. Yeah, someone said to me the other day, I'm not sure if you're going to make me better or not, but you're going to make me really, really self-conscious with everything I do and intolerant about everybody else's rubbish. I thought, okay.
It's like the or not part. I just said it without even thinking about it.
Cool.
I mean, so what would you say? And like sales and marketing always goes together as if it's one. Mm-hmm. I don't believe it is, but I'd love to get your thoughts on it.
Well, using my afters nerdery, basically sales and marketing, the ultimate after is it's going to result in someone buying from us and giving us money. That's the ultimate after. And there's an element of the two things needing to work in hand. You don't need two different departments. You could be the same person doing both. But the fact is, if you think of marketing, it's something to do with the market, finding out about the market. But the ultimate after of marketing is leads coming to the business. Yeah. That's what marketing does.
Yeah.
And then sales ultimately will turn those leads into money. So they're two very distinct things. Like what you say to get someone going, yeah, all right, we'll have a chat, is very different than I've enjoyed that chat, let me give you some money. But it's perfectly possible for someone to do both those if they want to, or you can keep them different. But I like thinking about the afters of everything. It's like if I'm a lawyer, the afters are keep Brad out of jail. Yeah. If I'm a marketer, the afters are Brad has more leads than he had last week.
I mean, it's so then with the sales would be the selling point, wouldn't it? The part of the sell, I guess. Yeah. So
Yeah.
say for instance, you mentioned selling without selling. So what? I know there's a smile on your face. Yeah. Explain that bit to me.
So the reason I started saying this is loads of people, the phrase sales is a dirty word. There's a lot of people who think there's something unethical about sales. And I mean, we've all met like knobhead salespeople. So I'm not saying that, but I've also met knobhead, every profession. But for some reason, sales is a proper dirty word, right?
Let's steer clear of travel agents and car salesmen, by the way.
Oh, that sort of thing and timeshare stuff. And we've all heard it, right? We've all heard it. But the interesting thing is, I mean, the other day I went into a shop and I needed something and the shop assistant came to help me and I bought it and I left absolutely delighted. Now, that is technically a sale, but I left absolutely delighted. And the reason I left absolutely delighted was because I got the afters I wanted. So what I think about sales is, if you think of sales as something you do to the customer, you'll probably say, look at my business. I was founded in this year. Look at all the people who work here. Look at all the different things we can do. Let me tell you about our products. Let me tell you about our service. And after it, the other person thinks, oh, just shut up. Yeah, because what you're doing is you're talking too much about yourself. But if you think of sales in the way I do, which is it's helping somebody else get the afters. Yeah, helping someone else get the afters. So it's helpful. It's a joint thing. So I'm not throwing sales at you. I'm holding hands with you to help you get to your happy afters place. So, for example, if you are, let's use the example of a lawyer and someone doesn't want to go to jail, if you can help them not go to jail, well, technically you made a sale, but helping them not go to jail just sounds nicer. Yeah? And so what I mean by selling by not selling is your job is to find what the other person wants to achieve and then say, well, let's work together to get you there. Now, most people don't do that. Most people sell by talking about themselves too much.
Wasn't it? Like the afters sort of thing, like focus on the afters rather than the actual credentials, as we've mentioned.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the simple order is you talk about their afters to start with, and then you talk about your stories to prove you can deliver them. I mean, it's almost as simple and as difficult as that, right? So I had someone talk to me earlier on today, and they said, we want you to help our sales team. And I said, okay, like, how can I help? And they said, well, we want them to sell more. And I said, yeah, I'm sure you do, but can you break it down a bit for me? And they said, well, we really need them to be better at cold calling. And I said, why do you need them to be better at cold calling? Like, what do you want to achieve afterwards? And they said, well, we need to have their sales calendars full. Like, too many salespeople have got empty calendars. And I said, all right, so the afters you want, using our language, Brad, what I'm hearing is you want to be able to have your salespeople with full calendars. Is that right? And they go, that's exactly right. So it took quite a while to find the afters out, but the afters are, they've got empty calendars, they want full calendars. Then I can then start telling my stories, and I can say, well, you sound like one of my other customers said the same thing. Like you, they said they wanted cold calling, but actually I found a different route than cold calling, and their diaries went from empty to full and it only took a couple of weeks. Do you mind if I tell you that story? Because I think it might help. And they go, oh, yes, please. And can you hear how joint this is? Right? It's really...
Feel sold already. I want to sign up. That was amazing, Andy.
But it was just joint and it was nice. And the thing is, I passionately want them to be successful. I struggle with salespeople who think it's all about the money, isn't it? No, it's not. It's all about the afters. Look after the other person's afters, and you'll probably get the money. It's like help them get millions, and you'll probably get thousands. That's fine. Help them get billions, you probably get millions. But your job is to enhance the condition of the other person. So when they said, Andy, can you do some sales stuff? I could have just said, yeah, of course. Maybe would have taught them cold calling, and they didn't really want to do cold calling. But because I passionately found out about the afters they want and then passionately told them a story and then said, how soon do you want to get going? It just feels a nice joy. That's what I mean by selling, by not selling. You're jointly achieving afters.
That was brilliant. As I said, I was probably getting engrossed in that story as you were telling that. So yeah, it's working. It's working.
Nailed it.
Hold it. So let's say, for instance, and many contractors and such tend to go for 3 proposals. I know you mentioned about proposals before, about sort of experience, etc. Don't just say, "Oh, here's our proposal." I remember you doing a video on that one, so that was why I said that one. But let's just assume that we're there now, and they want to. There's 3 proposals on the desk. How can you stand out from the other 3? Let's say the price is similar, the services are similar. How would you recommend that someone could stand out from those other 2?
Well, there's lots of different ways. I'll just run through them very quickly, and you tell me if you want more information on any of them, right? Number 1, most people don't do this. When you're writing your proposal, say to the person who's going to read your proposal, what headings do you want in the proposal? How long do you want it to be? So actually ask the question, what do you want in the proposal? Nobody asked that, Brad. So what happens is, imagine that 3 different companies were sending me their proposal. If one person said, what do you want? I'll tell you what I want, because I'm really lazy. I want it to be 1 page, 2 maximum, and I want it in big writing, and I want you to cover ABC. That's all I want. But if somebody hadn't asked that, they would think, I better look professional. I've read the book called The Thud Factor. I know the proposal needs to be massive. And they send me this bloody 30-page PowerPoint thing that does my head in. Yeah? And then section 1 would say the year they were founded, and section 2 would be a map of their offices. So I hate them. So a very simple way to make yourself stand out is to ask the customer what format do you want the proposal in, what headings do you want the proposal to contain, how long do you want it to be, because if you're the only person who sends 2 pages when everybody else sells 10, that'll probably be enough. Right? That's one thing to do. Second thing to do is afters early. So make sure your proposal leads with the afters. So if you're talking to somebody and they want to export into Belgium, call your proposal, here's how we'll help you export into Belgium. Don't call it Andy Bound's proposal.
Oh, in the title?
Yeah, in the title, yeah. And in the file name, call it Andy Bound's proposal, confirming how he'll help us get into Belgium. Then the opening page says you'll get into Belgium. Then maybe there's a little summary which says, we've agreed your main priority is to get into Belgium. This proposal will confirm how we'll get you there. Yeah. So what happens is, my proposal is the only one that is 2 pages long with loads of headings and big writing. Mine is the only one that has Belgium all over the place to start with. Everyone else is talking about the year of bloody formation. Yeah. In my proposal as well, I will always do a timeline that says, if we do work together, this is what your journey will look like. So if it's 3 months, it's like a little timeline Gantt chart thing. So across the top, month 1, 2, 3, this is what I do. This is what you have to do, customer. So that way the customer sees how we're going to work together. You know, the holding hands idea. If needed, I might just include a mini case study in there. You know, the stories idea. Like what you want to achieve getting into Belgium. I've already helped somebody increase their market share in Belgium. Here's a quick thumbnail story for you. And the final thing, always, always, always end a proposal with a how to accept it. In other words, there needs to be a section which is called something like confirmation of acceptance. To accept this proposal, all you have to do is sign page 3 and get it back to me. That's all you have to do. And as soon as I get it back, the first 5 things you'll see me do are this, 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 this. So if you have a final section, Brad, that says, complete this by signing page 3 and get it back to me, and then I will do A, B, C, D, E, it makes it extremely easy to accept and also very compelling to accept because you know the 5 wonderful things that are going to happen. Anyway, sorry, I'm having a right old rant here. Is this useful? Is this what you wanted to know?
Do you know what? This is absolutely amazing, Andy. I love it. I'm scrapping my entire proposal, by the way. So I'm starting to...
Yes, you're welcome, and I'm sorry.
No, I'll tell you what, it's absolutely amazing. I mean, that makes total sense because so many people, it's obvious but not obvious. Like so many people think, oh, well, they know to sign it and send it back to me. But there's so many people that email. I've had it a few times. Say, well, how do I get going with this? I'm like, it's at the bottom. It says, so. But I've got to admit, mine are not as clear as the instructions of you've just mentioned. So that's why I said I've got to rewrite that. But it's really so common that it happens like that where no one knows what the next steps are.
Which means you have a wonderful and frankly quite easy way to stand out from other people. Yeah. I know that when I do training and do presentations and so on, very often people give me feedback. That was exactly what we needed. And people often say to me, like, how did you manage to get exactly what we needed? And I said, well, I asked up front what you needed. I know it sounds like that. So when you do a proposal, it should be the same thing. Like, what headings do you want? How long do you want it to be? What format do you want it in? Another thing that you can do with proposals is you can, before you send it, pre-arrange a follow-up call. So I'll often do this. I say, okay, so the next 2 steps of the proposal are, I need to write the thing, but then we need to have a chat about it. If I write it today, Tuesday, when should we have a quick chat? Wednesday, 5 minutes. We've got 5 minutes tomorrow, 5 minutes today afterwards. Let's have a quick chat about it. And the reason I do that, Bryce, is because I don't want to get ghosted after I've sent it. So you can see, can't you, that if 2 people do a 20-slide behemoth and we do a 2-page thing and we cover the things they wanted and there's a follow-up call booked in and there's Belgium afters all over the place and there's you just sign this page and then I'll do these 5 things, that's how you stand out.
Absolutely amazing. Brilliant. We've already done standout proposals. Vision and legacy. What's your vision, Andy, and your legacy?
Vision for me or for my clients?
You. It's about you.
So my vision for me is I want my business, I'm going to use the word afters again here. I want my business to give my family and me everything. So I want it to give us, yes, the money is all very lovely, but the main thing I want it to give is time. So I'm not one of these who wants to work every hour God sends to earn every hour and every penny God's ever created. I want to make sure that I earn a good enough whack to keep the family in the style to which they become accustomed, but I also want to have a good work-life balance. And I find as long as those things are right, and the other thing I want from my customers' point of view is I want them to get the same thing as well. So I want my customers to be delighted by the return on investment they get from working with me, and I want my customers to think that it didn't take too much time. Because I think if you get good outcomes, good experience, and the time is right for me, and the same thing for them, we should be all right. So that's always my vision. So I'm not someone who goes 20 years away, I want to live in France. I'm not somebody who has like long-term goals like that. I just think I just want to have a lovely, settled life that gives me and my customers this sort of wonderful outcome. I remember a while ago thinking you could call that win-win. And then we came up with this subheading, Brad, we're really pleased with, because if it's a win-win, our customers will keep buying and we'll keep trying. And we thought that was genius. Unbelievable. There you go. But it's true, right? Because if you have, sometimes you want a bit of a hole in your customer list, right? Say you've got an empty week or 2. And the greatest thing I've ever thought about customers is you're better off with a hole than an arsehole. Because if you get a bad customer, like, everyone hates it, everybody hates it. So I love this idea about it's got to be right for us. I don't want to work with an arsehole customer and they don't want to work with me. So I want to make sure that we keep trying because we love the people we work with and they keep buying because they love working with us. And that seems to stand us in quite good stead.
I think when you get to that level, you can start to pick a little bit of who you want to work with. I think, because then all of a sudden the bills are getting covered and all that sort of thing. That's by the by. But then you can
No, but
focus
it's
on your.
important that because I used to find listening to people like me have a little rant on. I used to find it sometimes a bit inspiring and sometimes a bit intimidating because when I'd recently got divorced, like many years ago, and I was really skint and struggling. And I heard people say, "Oh, I like to say no to business because I don't want to work with arsehole customers." I go, "Well, it's all right for you. I need the money."
That's
Yeah,
what I mean. Yeah.
yeah, so I'm absolutely not saying I answered your question as literally as I could. What's your vision, Andy? That's my vision. If you'd asked me that question 20 years ago, it would be earn whatever I can to make sure I can feed the kids. So it just depends where you are, right?
That's it. Yeah. Well, Andy, I know you got to shoot. I just wanted to say thank you so much again for this. It's been, I tell you what, we've crammed so much in just these 30 minutes. It's been amazing. So it's such a shame that we have to end it. But I know that you've got to stop at 11, so I do apologise about that. But
Yeah, no, it's a shame, but we could use the corporate phrase "hard stop," right? So yeah, we do have
that's it.
a hard stop, but
Go around that. But yeah, you've brought it out now. So here we are.
that's it. Yeah, still got a hard stop. But a couple of things. I mean, anyone listening to this, I get really buzzed by helping other people. So if anyone listening to this wants to ask me any questions about their business, that just reach me through LinkedIn. Just drop me a line. We can have a chat. This is how we got together, Brad. Right? As far as this podcast goes, because you sent me a note through LinkedIn. So I always reply. It's always me. I've not got a little team of umpa lumpers who do stuff for me. It's always me. And anything anyone needs, just let me know.
Was going to ask which is the best method for people to contact you on.
Yeah,
So
just LinkedIn,
yeah, okay. I must say you did get back to me very quickly, so I appreciate that and appreciate your time today. And hopefully we'll have a part 2. But I'm going to come up and visit you. So yeah, so do it in person.
That's good. Like anytime, I'm in Liverpool and it's very friendly around here. So there we go.
Andy, I really appreciate it, mate. There's been lots of gold nuggets in there, so thank you very much. And